All right, so we're moving on to Asteroid Destroyer Section 2. This one's going to be way shorter than Section 1, so it shouldn't be that bad. So all we're going to do here is we're going to add a wave system. So the goal is we want to make it so that when we destroy an asteroid, it'll go to another wave and then spawn more asteroids each time we go through, and basically the game's going to run infinitely, okay? So to start this off, we are going to make a wave system group. So in your ES game, just right click out here. We're going to add a group and we're going to call it wave system. Click OK. Okay. We also need a global variable so that we can track what wave we're on. So we're going to right click out here and we're going to add a global variable. Call it wave, and it can start off at 0. Okay. Then what we're going to do is in the wave system group, we basically are going to make it so that if there are no asteroids on the screen, that your ship is going to freeze. So basically the way it's going to work is this. We're going to make it so that the game's basically frozen. You press enter to start the wave. You destroy asteroids, and then we have to have it so when the asteroids are all gone, that you freeze again and you press enter to start the next wave. Okay? So in order to do that, we have to compare if there are asteroids on the screen or not. So we're going to add an event to wave system. We're going to do something called system, and it's going to be called compare two values. Okay? So to check if the asteroids are, to check that there are no asteroids on the screen, for the first value here, we're going to type in asteroid dot count. And once again, you want to, as you type, just click on the suggestions. So asteroid dot count means it's going to count the number of asteroids, and we want to know if that is equal to 0. So then you can click done. Okay. We're going to add another condition onto this because we also want to know that we are past wave 0, because we don't want this to trigger like right away. So we're going to right click here on the left side and we're going to add another condition, and we want to do system compare value or compare variable, and we want to know that wave is greater than 0. Okay. So basically this condition says there have to be no asteroids on the screen and the wave have to be greater than 0 for this to trigger. Then what we're going to do is we're going to make it so the spaceship can't move. Well, one way to do that, because we use custom movement, right? We can only move because of this code here in spaceship movement. So we're actually going to just deactivate that group. So what we do is we add an action here and we do system, and it's called set group active. So I'm just going to type in the word group, and set group active pops up here. When you see these quotation marks, what you want to do is they want you to type in the name of a group, right? But if you don't type it in exactly how it is written in your original code, it won't work. So what you want to do is you want to delete the quotation marks, type a quotation mark, and then you want to select the group from the list. So we want spaceship movement, and you want to double click it. And then we want to change it from active to deactive. So what happens is if the wave is greater than 0 and there are no asteroids on the screen, it's going to basically deactivate that group and the player will not be allowed to move. Okay. The other thing we're going to do is your ship might be like floating, like as the last asteroid gets destroyed, and we don't want your ship to continue floating. So we're going to set the ship speed to 0 so that you kind of like stop in place. So we're going to add an action for the spaceship. And then we're going to set your overall speed. So if you type in speed, you want to do set speed under the custom velocity. And you want to have it on overall, and you want it to be 0. Okay, so we have custom overall speed set to 0. Perfect. Then what we're going to do is we want to make it so that if you're frozen, that you can press enter to start the new wave. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another event to wave system down here. So click on that. We're going to do keyboard, and we're going to do on key pressed. Okay. We're going to click here. Now, normally in the past for the other keys, you just press it on the keyboard, but we want it to be enter, and you can't press enter here because it's like the confirm button to choose the key that you want. So enter, you have to actually click from this drag down box and you have to pick enter here, and then you can click OK. Okay. The other condition is so basically this event is going to like reactivate the group. So we only want to be able to do that if the group is already deactive. So on this enter pressed event, we're going to add a condition. So right click like where this green arrow is. We're going to add another condition and we're going to do system and then we're going to do is group active. So if you type in the word group, we want to compare if a group is active. And then we're going to type a quotation mark, get spaceship movement. And what we want to do is we want to know if the group is not active. So since this says the group is active, you can right click it and you can invert it. So if you right click it and click invert, you'll get this red X. And that basically means that the opposite of what it says. So if we press enter and the spaceship movement group is not active, that's what this condition says. Okay. Then for the action, we want to set the movement group active again. So that's a pretty similar event to this one. So I could type it in manually, or I could just hold control and drag this one down and copy it, and then just change this from deactive to active. So now that's going to activate the group. And then we've got to also add one to our wave variable. So I'm going to add, sorry, I'm down here. We're going to add another action here. We're going to do system, add to. We're going to choose wave, and we're going to add one to it. Okay. So that basically now is if the group is, so basically what's going to happen is this. When you destroy the last asteroid on the screen, this is going to trigger because the asteroid count is 0 and you'll be past wave 0. It'll deactivate the group and you can't move. Then you're going to be frozen, but you can press enter when the group is not active to reactivate the group and add one to the wave counter. Okay. Now what the wave counter is going to do is it's going to track what wave we're on, but we're also going to spawn asteroids based on the wave number. So the higher the wave, the more asteroids we're going to spawn. So in order to do that, we have to take this event here and make a sub-event to it. Okay, now to make a sub-event, you have to be on this far left side. So where this green arrow is or the empty area right below it is fine. But you're going to right-click in that area. We're going to add a sub-event. Okay, and we're going to do a repeat event. So we're going to do system, and we're going to type in repeat. And it's going to want to know how many times we want to repeat this event. So what this event is going to do, based on the number of waves, it's going to repeat and spawn an asteroid each time it repeats. So for the number of times it repeats, we're actually going to just type in the word wave. And what's going to happen is it's going to find our wave global variable. So what happens is for each wave that we're on, it's going to repeat that many times. And then we are going to spawn the asteroid. Now what we're going to do is rather than just telling it to spawn an asteroid, we're going to open up your start event group. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to take all of this asteroid spawn code and we're just going to move it down. We're not going to copy it. We're actually physically going to move it because we don't need it on start of layout anymore. So what we want to do is highlight every action here except asteroid destroy. We want to keep that at the beginning. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this system event. I'm going to hold down control on my keyboard and click on each one while holding control. Okay. So that they're all highlighted. Now you have to let go of control before you click and drag, because if you click and drag while holding control, it's going to copy it. So just hold control to highlight them, then let go of control. Then you're going to drag these all down and you want to put it right here. And you let go and they're all going to go in like this. So notice that the black bar was right above this line here, and then they all went in right underneath. So if you did it correctly, it should all be attached to this repeat wave times now. Okay. Then we're going to add one more event to this on start of layout. After we destroy the asteroid, we're going to deactivate the spaceship group so that we're deactive at the beginning. So we're going to do system, set group active. We're going to do spaceship movement, deactive. So what this is going to do is because our wave is 0, it's not going to trigger this event right away. So we're just going to freeze the ship so that the group's deactive, so you can't move. Then what's going to happen is you're going to press enter, It's going to activate the group so you can move. It's going to add 1 to wave. So wave is going to become 1. This will repeat 1 time because wave is 1, which will spawn the asteroid on the screen. Then let's say you shoot and destroy the asteroid. Then this is going to trigger when it's destroyed, freeze the group. Your group is frozen. You press enter. You unfreeze, add 1 to wave. Wave is now 2. So now it's going to repeat 2 times and you're going to get 2 asteroids. Okay, so let's see it in action really quick. So right now I cannot move. It looks like the game doesn't work, but I press enter. I can now move. The asteroid spawns. I'm going to shoot it. You'll see that my ship froze. I can't move now. Press enter again. Wave becomes 2, so now I get 2 asteroids. So now I can destroy those. Freezes again, press enter, now I'm on wave 3. Okay, so this is like a very simplified version of the final game, but essentially this is what the final game does. You keep destroying asteroids and moving on to waves. Now we're going to do things to make it more complicated, but that's basically where we're at right now. So that is the end of section 2.